Welcome back. Singaporeans now have a new way to use routine blood tests to get an earlier picture of how their bodies may be aging. The assessment tool, AgeQ, estimates a person's biological age, how their body is aging compared with their actual age. That gives people more insights into potential health risks and encourages them to take proactive steps for better health. It draws on more than a decade of research from over 5,400 older Singaporeans and was validated across the US and UK populations.
The number one thing that we can do is ultimately take control of our health. And for that to happen, each and every one of us must understand where we stand. AgeQ allows one metric of that understanding, and because that makes the idea of healthy aging more tangible, we are then able to pursue the healthier habits.
At an event on how science and research can support health longevity, Trade and Industry Minister Tan See Leng said Singapore must better understand aging to identify health risks earlier and use science to shift the focus from disease treatment towards prevention where possible. Dr. Tan added that Singapore will continue to invest in R&D while strengthening partnerships between researchers, clinicians, and companies.
There will not be a single breakthrough that transforms healthy longevity overnight, but the progress will come through sustained scientific discovery, through rigorous research, stronger partnerships, and a willingness to translate knowledge into solutions that can improve people's lives.
Singaporeans are living longer than ever, but living longer does not necessarily mean living healthier. As we age, health problems can accumulate. So the real question is not just how many years we live, but how many of those years we spend in good health. Now, life expectancy for Singapore residents rose to 83.9 years in 2025. That's from 83.7 the year before. Women continue to live longer than men, with an average life expectancy of 86 years, compared with 81.8 years for men. An 11-year study that followed more than 5,400 Singaporeans suggests that our everyday habits are linked to differences in biological age. Smoking and obesity are linked to an older biological age, while regular exercise, eating plant-based foods, and drinking green tea are linked to a younger biological age. Sleep matters too, although the relationship is more complex. Both too little and too much sleep can increase health risks. So why are Singaporeans living longer? Fatal health problems are being treated more quickly. Better chronic disease management and an integrated healthcare system help to tackle conditions like cancer and heart disease. Medical advances and technology also improve early disease detection. But non-fatal health problems can get left behind. Conditions affecting physical and mental health can build up over adulthood, causing prolonged pain and reducing quality of life. Now, a significant gap remains between lifespan and health span. That's the years spent in good health. And that gap is growing. It has widened by about 3 years over 2 decades, with women spending more years in poor health. The Health Ministry says only about 75 years are spent in good health. That means many Singaporeans can spend up to 10 years in poor health, dealing with frailty or disability. So, how do we close that gap? It means looking after our health earlier through changing lifestyles, from eating better to managing mental health. And financial and community support can also help people stay healthy and independent for longer.
More initiatives in terms of improving perhaps work-life balance, and having more initiatives in terms of helping people to de-stress and having more priorities outside their work. So all these are important factors. Not forgetting economic stability. I think that's very important in terms, and also having housing, proper housing, adequacy of housing. All this can contribute to stabilizing from a psychosocial perspective.
Living longer is only part of the story. The bigger challenge is making sure those extra years are spent in good health. And that is where the focus of healthy longevity is shifting. Not simply extending lifespan, but delaying the onset of disease and disability for as long as possible.